remember as a child, though, at 10 and 11, being placed into foster care, I felt very shut out. They didn't really discuss anything with me, and I think their intention was to protect me because I was so young that it was better for me not to know because they felt I wouldn't understand if I did know. And I advocate now for younger kids, even at that age, that they can tell if you're shutting them out, and the worst thing you can do is, give them answers like, I can't tell you right now. Just say, give me a little bit, wait till you're a little older, and then I'm going to explain this further, and give them a smaller explanation that you think that they can handle. But no explanation at all is worse. They feel lied to. I did.
I don't really remember all the caseworkers that I had. I went from foster care to foster care and so many different caseworkers that I couldn't even tell you how many.
It was very, very strange for me. We would sit at the dining room table and she would just ask these bunch of questions, and she would have no feeling. So for me it was very awkward. She would come, I think, once a month for maybe 10 minutes.
Over time, I began to feel more comfortable simply because I found out that she cared. Because I had a mentality that all caseworkers, were out to take children away from their families.
In my first home, I seen her once. I was in my first home for almost 4 months. And then I got transferred caseworkers. That caseworker got a little bit better. She came into the school and seen me and would take me out to lunch and stuff like that when I was in high school. And it was more reasonable, but it still wasn't monthly visits like it was supposed to be.
First few caseworkers didn't get along with. They were too pushy on trying to get what they wanted, what they thought was best. Then I was able to come across one, wasn't all that, I wouldn't say great, but ended up becoming, a good friend of mine throughout the entire situation.
They throw their leg up there and they throw their paper there and then they throw their pad down and, tell me what's going on, and you kind of put up a brick wall, it's kind of like a block there, and then you shut completely down. And in the beginning, that's how I was with my caseworker. I didn't want, much. I didn't want to tell her much because I thought that everything that I was telling her was going against what I was doing, going against me going back home.
There were a lot of times when they would come to the home that I'd have something to say and I felt like I couldn't say it. I knew that the foster parents were either in the other room or within hearing range, or even on the phone visits. You didn't know if they picked up the other line in the other room, the phone that was in the office, and if they were listening in on your conversation, so you felt like trapped and you couldn't say what you maybe wanted to say.
At first I wasn't, because she's a stranger and I'm a kid lost in a, uncomfortable environment. But over time, I became very comfortable with her and talked to her about everything and anything that needed to be talked about, anything.
With that caseworker, I was still young, so I didn't realize that she was there to help me. So I was thinking I need to, go home. So mentally I was thinking she was there to hurt me, so I didn't really open up to her. So at that time I really didn't have a relationship with her.
I did begin to express myself because, again, I felt comfortable with her because she took time out to ask me how was I doing in school. She asked me, how was I doing in math? How was I doing in English? How was I doing in social studies, in biology? How was I doing in my daily life? What activities was I involved in? And she was concerned about me, my family, and my education. That's what made me feel more comfortable in opening up to her.
As a teenager, I remember actually having forms to fill out. I had one caseworker who put together a packet of what you would like, what are your goals, what do you want to be, what should we work toward. And that seemed really helpful. It opened it up for discussion, and I felt like I didn't have to say, she gave it to me and I had a week to fill it out, gave me time to think about it. And then after that, we worked together about what I had written down and what we could work toward. And she was very honest with me about what was, unobtainable.
She cared. She cared. In my experience with my other worker, it was this is my job and this is what I do during the daytime, but I didn't really matter to her. But with this caseworker, she just cared, and that's the biggest thing that she could have done for me is cared, because I had nobody to care about me.